I know she was murdered because they're investigating into me. So tell me what happened to her that night. Okay, fuck, Tariq. I tried to hold it down for you exactly how you said.
The Tariq St. Patrick that everybody wanted to see is this mean, strong character who has grit and steel, who isn't afraid to challenge people like Kane in the streets in hand-to-hand combat. This is one of the many reasons why we love Ghost's character, although we could definitely question his character in terms of good versus evil. Nobody could question his ability to handle himself in the streets. We witnessed a seamless transition between the two worlds Ghost operated in. He was a street thug when he needed to be, but also a legit businessman in a Tom Ford suit who could blend in with the elite. He was able to navigate with finesse, adapt, and stand his ground when challenged. So in this video, we're going to be running through some Instagram posts by Michael Rainey Jr. which were recently posted around him training and being in the gym, but what that means for his character trajectory and how he might be a different proposition going forward. So in the first part of this video, we're going to be looking at the timeline of the shows and when we could expect Ghost Season 4. In the second part, we're going to look at how and why we do need to see this other side to Tariq St. Patrick, a golden opportunity that was missed in Season 2, and we're going to link this into Ghost's time in jail in Season 4, but also how the writers could be set to give us what we want to see from Tariq St. Patrick going forward from Power Book to Ghost Season 4. Now you guys know I love to get straight to the point, but we do have to do some housekeeping because there is some good news and unfortunately there is some bad news. The bad news is that there is an ongoing writer's strike that's affecting TV and the film industry. The good news being is that Season 4 has officially wrapped up its filming and so has for Season 2. So both seasons are filmed and done and dusted. Although don't expect there to be any new teasers, images anytime soon for Season 4 of Ghost, because Force is up next on September the 1st. Now unfortunately due to the writer's strike, actors aren't actually allowed to promote their shows either, which was confirmed by an article on Variety, Powerfan Source and Joseph Sikora himself on Twitter. Now in terms of the writer's strike, this had no impact on Raising Kanan Season 3, which was confirmed by Sasha Penn, who's a showrunner for Power Book 3. Now even though he expected this to air in the summer, with Force coming on September the 1st, it probably means we won't be seeing Raising Kanan Season 3 until the winter, which probably means soon after Force, so my logical guess is November. Now there's of course Season 3 of BMF which they've also wrapped up, potentially in January, and then there's Ghost Season 4 that could potentially come back in March. So that's where I think we are with the timeline with the shows. But with the housekeeping out the way, let's dive straight into Ghost Season 4 and what I think could be a major change for Tariq, but also a golden opportunity that I feel was missed in Ghost Season 2. Now after the ending of Season 3, we all know that Tariq and Brayden have this war on their hands. Brayden came in to help save his brother from near death, and it tells us Brayden made his choice. Even though he wanted out of the game, he couldn't leave Tariq hanging on his own, especially after he got the call from Obi, so Brayden's all in. But Tariq definitely has to make a choice as well.
If you want to survive, you either a civilian or a gangster. There ain't no in between. Stay in your lane, all in or all out.
Slowly Tariq is definitely coming to terms in regards to what he has to do to live up to the legacy of his father, but he still has a long way to go, and nothing proved more than that than Season 3. He was manipulated and played by those around him. He got flung like a ragdoll by Kane, and that's one thing I wanted to focus on in this video, because I do think the writers are listening to the Power fans. We've been making light fun of Tariq walking all over New York since Season 1, and he even made reference to it himself, which I do believe was an improvisation by Michael Rainey Jr.
All this shit I be doing for this family, you can't even offer me a ride. That's why you driving that beat up car.
At least I got one.
So fast forward to Season 3, we saw Tariq finally get himself a car, only for it to be taken by 2-Bit. Now the same could also be said about Kane's obsession with Tariq St. Patrick. The writers have definitely addressed this through the growth that we've seen in Kane's character. One of the hot topics from Seasons 1 and 2 was how Kane was obsessed with Tariq after he came in and took his place under Monet and the Tejada organization. Since then, it's been Kane trying to get rid of Tariq, trying to prove he can do what Tariq does, or what he's done in the past. Most of Kane's actions was dictated around Tariq St. Patrick, but in Season 3 we saw them flip the script, which shows the writers are definitely paying attention, with this maybe being another small clue as to the character we could potentially see in the future. Maybe not in Season 4 because they have wrapped up filming already, but maybe in Season 5, which really would make him a different proposition for all those he comes up against. Although look, let's not beat around the bush, Tariq got his ass handed to him by Kane when they went toe to toe in Davis McLean's office in 309. Tariq was trying to get the better of someone who's battle tested, someone who's literally grown up in the streets. Ever since he was a young boy, he's been in the streets working with the Tejada business, mainly being the muscle to their organization. Like Lorenzo once said to Monet, people fear Kane in the streets, and so as long as they fear him, that's the position he should play. And that's the biggest difference between Kane and Tariq St. Patrick. Kane is battle tested, whereas Tariq is someone who grew up in a penthouse suite in Tribeca, who really was sheltered from the dangers of the life his father once used to live, which was until Kanan took him to the old neighborhood. Kane on the other hand, he's grown up in this environment where he's had no choice but to kill or be killed. Now, golden opportunity I do think they wasted was with Tariq being in jail in season 2, or him just being on a punch bag in the gym like Tommy. Look at what they did with Effie in season 3 while she was in an orange jumpsuit. She had her back against the wall and had to protect herself. She's another character who grew up in the streets like Kane, and so she's had no choice but to protect herself. But this is what I wish they did with Tariq being in jail by having him there for 2 or 3 episodes, and I'm gonna link this back to OG Power when Ghost was in jail. Now, Ghost had been in an uncomfortable situation before, but being in jail was definitely different. It brought forward a vulnerability being in an unfamiliar and uncomfortable environment for someone who always liked to be in control. He was stripped of influence and resources, where he had to obey a system and different rules, whereas on the outside, he was used to other people calling him boss. He had to protect himself from internal threats and had limited control on external threats. It really was a humbling experience where he had all the time to reflect on his actions and confront his inner demons, but also an experience which gave us one of Ghost's most ruthless kills in Marshall Clyde Williams, and where he had to create an ally in Tony Teresi, who we would later find out to be Tommy's father. Now, I'm not going to go into too much detail in terms of Ghost's time in jail, because I do have something planned in the next few weeks on Ghost, which will definitely explore this in a bit more detail. So bringing this back to Power Book 2 Ghost, this is what I wish they did with Tariq St. Patrick's time in jail in Season 2, him having to come up against internal and external threats, showing signs of vulnerability, being in an uncomfortable situation where he had no option but to use his fists, and protect himself like Ghost did. Just imagine if we had this heated conversation between Tariq and Brayden while Tariq was still in jail. How impactful would it have been to see Brayden looking at Tariq opposite this table in handcuffs, black eye with an orange jumpsuit? This is why I thought it was important to highlight Ghost's time in jail, the vulnerability, and all the different emotions that came from his time behind bars. Although Tariq did highlight the consequences of the game in this heated argument with Brayden, giving as good as he got, but seeing Tariq in a jail cell, his brother down and out, battered, beaten and bruised, would have highlighted the dangers of the game and consequences that much more. Now, had Tariq gone through even what half of Ghost did, we might have seen a different Tariq St. Patrick in Season 3, but now he has no choice but to toughen up, which goes back to the writers paying attention with giving Tariq a car, making Kane less obsessed with Tariq and giving his character a lot more growth. Are a couple of these few scenes from Season 3 a foreshadow of what's to come in Seasons 4 and 5? He's definitely got a lot of time to get himself in the gym and train during the Power Off season, and if he does, he'd be looking like a different proposition to people like Kane or anybody else who challenges him in the streets, because he can't just keep getting bullied and thrown around. Which does bring me on to 2-Bit, another mystery the writers answered in Season 3. A burning question the Power fans had, which dated all the way back to Season 1, was when was 2-Bit going to come back and collect, and now that we've seen him return, what's next for his character? Tariq needs to get a grip of everything around him and start rebuilding his organization, but he can't do that if he has constant threats like 2-Bit coming back, taking his car, asking for money and product. He really does need to find a way to align his interests with 2-Bit and give him a reason to come on board and help him build his organization, because having someone like 2-Bit around can be highly beneficial for a few reasons. He's a street soldier who's loyal to the streets, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm sure we haven't seen him fight, but I'm sure he wouldn't have survived this long without being battle tested, so he could prove to be a valuable mentor to Tariq as well as Brayden as they start to navigate the streets, because after all, 2-Bit is someone who worked under Dre and Tommy Egan, so if I were Tariq, regardless of whether he's in the gym or not, 2-Bit is one person I would get on my team. But with that being said, that's a breakdown of the latest with Season 4 officially completing their filming, and where it leaves us with a timeline of the shows. But how we could also be in for a different Tariq St. Patrick in the coming seasons. So let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Did they miss a trick in Season 2 with Tariq in jail? But have the writers got something planned to toughen Tariq up over the next season or 2? Drop all your thoughts down below in the comment section, and as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.